Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining me on the G-Shock Watcher channel. I'm very excited about this video because I've been wanting to get my hands on this watch for a while, and we talked a little bit about it last year. It was the Memory in Pixel LCD watch. So the watch of today is, let me get into focus, the GW-BX5600. I've got a full sort of overhead view of this watch, and so hopefully that will give you better focus on the watch itself. Again, one day we'll get pro and I'll have better equipment to do a really good sort of stable review, but hopefully you can sort of get a quick look at that from here. You'll see more in the above view shot on this watch, but I really like this watch. I picked it up for $269 Sing. It's a very light watch, very easy to wear, very comfortable to wear, and has some great features and capabilities. And I purchased the negative display for this watch. I know I was sort of talking about not really liking negative, but as many people said to me, on a Memory in Pixel display, the negative actually is very, very good. And I would agree, the negative is a very, very good view for the watch itself. So let's talk about some of the features of this watch. So $269 Sing is what I picked it up for. It is the first ever Memory in Pixel LCD square. And in fact, from a dimensions point of view, it actually very much is square. So 49.1 height, 49.1 width, and 13.4 millimeters thickness. The weight is about 51 grams. Now, I guess the most comparable watch that this would be the evolution from is the GW-M5610. This one is a 46.7 in height, 43.2, and about 12.7 in thickness. So this one was a little bit thinner, but the dimensions were a little bit more skewed. Weight-wise, this was a 51.7 gram watch. This one is a 51 gram watch. So we're just shedding a little bit of weight off the watch itself. Now, in terms of some of those features here, this watch has water resistance of 200 meters. It's got world time, cities times, time zones, and alarms. The world time is actually quite cool. It's got a unique capability which you can go ahead and actually do. I don't think I've seen it on other watches. Maybe it's there, I've missed it, but here on this watch I'm going to show you how you can have not just one world time but multiple world times to switch between. In addition, you can change the format of the date, so month, month, day, day, or day, day, month, month. We've got auto backlight, Bluetooth, multiband 6, and tough solar. And between the GW-BX56 and the GW-M5610, the 5610 didn't have Bluetooth, whereas this one now does. So yeah, this is the Memory in Pixel LCD watch. Very, very nice watch to be able to wear. So what I want to do is switch over to the overhead camera so you can get a look at what the watch actually is like. How some of the features actually work, so you can sort of see some of the things that people were complaining about with a Memory in Pixel LCD display, but then again, some of the things you can do because of a Memory in Pixel LCD display. And at the end, I'm going to quickly show you what the light actually looks like in a very, very dark room to sort of see how well it lights up from that angle. So let's switch over to the overhead camera. All right, I'm going to show you the watch. This is the GW-BX5600. Now, what I've done here is I've got the Casio Watch app overlaid on the screen itself, so you can see how we set some of the individual functions. So first, we'll talk about the displays and some of the little idiosyncrasies that they actually have as well. The watch itself, I won't go through too much. It's a resin band, resin casing. Back's got all of the logos and everything on there. Nothing really special. It's a comfortable watch, and it's a very light watch too, which is very, very nice. So let's talk about the interface here. We've got the standard time here. So we've got hours, minutes, and seconds. You can set this in 12-hour or 24-hour, which makes sense. At the top, we've got the day, we've got the date. So I've set it up as day, day, month, month. And then we have two time zones or two world times. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on because I haven't seen that before, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, the branding, you can sort of see Bluetooth, shock resist, multiband 6 with tough solar, everything here from that point of view. In terms of the button placements, we've got light up the top here, we've got receiving down here, we've got adjust here, and we've got the modes. So what I can do here is actually adjust the display straight away. So let me try and get this up. If I click up here, I can change this to a larger date and a larger day. If I click it again, I can see the day and the year, and the date stays the same. I click again, I can actually see one of my top time zones there, which is San Francisco. So I can see its date and its time next to my date and my time. And then click back and it goes back here again. So, you know, lots of different displays that you can use, which will be, you know, depending more functional for you or not. If we look up here at the lights, I'm going to do this in a darker room, but if I hold that down, you can see the light is actually pretty good in that MIP LCD display. You can change that duration of the light. I'll show you how to do that in the application as well. In terms of modes, if I click through here, I can see world time. And then what I can do is I click through this, I can change the different world times. That's world time 2, that's world time 1. So I can look at both of those world times from that point of view. Then if I click again, I can have the alarm. So I don't necessarily use the alarms on the watches. I have a phone for that, but I can have my alarm set here. I can have my stopwatch. This is obviously a point of some people's contention about MIP LCDs, is that I'm not going to get the milliseconds when I click this off. So as I start the watch, you can just see 2 lines here, and then we see the seconds counting down. I'll only get the millisecond numbers when I hit stop. And when I start again, you see it goes off again. So we're not getting it refreshed so fast because obviously the speed of the refresh of the watch is not going to be there. So it is measuring milliseconds, you're just not seeing it as it goes through. And then if I click back over here, I've got timer, and I can show you how to set that up as well on the application, and then click back over to the main display. Now, this button here, receiving, is kind of cool. This actually gives you the ability to mark a location where you are in the time. And so what you'll sort of see here, terrible finger pointing, on the application, you can sort of see this, a new activity has been recorded. If I go ahead and actually here. So what I've done here is if I click on this receiving button, it does a quick synchronization to the phone via Bluetooth to record a location. So if I click this now, you can see it says connect. We can see the app actually working here, and it will record a new point in time. So 12:53, that lines up with the time on our watch. If I click on this, what it does is it shows me where I actually was, where I am, and the time of that one. So a nice sort of feature in terms of going through and giving you an opportunity to locate where you actually were at a point in time. If it was important to you, you'd be able to go back and showcase that. So let's talk about how we change some of these different settings and how it works with the application itself. So I'm going to come back over here to my app. I'm going to click on the watch itself so we can see the watch. I'm going to click on no connection, and it tells us how to connect. So I just need to hold down the button here for about 3 seconds, hold it down, and we should be connected. And so we see at the top there, it's flashing, got success, so connect with a phone. So it's all set there across the top. And so we can see things there such as the battery life and other settings. So this is where it gets a little bit funky with the mirroring. So I'm going to use the keyboard here. So if we come down a little bit, we can start to see all the different settings. So if I go to alarms, for example, I can see here's all the different alarms I can set, and I can set these here on the actual phone app itself, which will help me do that. If I come back, same thing for timer. I can set my default timer as to how long I want it to actually be. And if I come back to here, world time, I can set my 2 different time zones. So if I wanted to change the time zone here to, well, let's say Adelaide, Australia, right? I can actually send that to the watch as well. And that would actually then give me those as 2 different time zones. And if I need to change in between them, I can actually do that on the watch, on the app as well. I guess the interesting ones that people quite often want to sort of have a look at, apart from the world time zones, if we go down here to watch settings, let's click on here, and we want watch settings, light. We can choose what length of light we actually have. Do we want 1.5 seconds or do we want 3 seconds? We have an auto light function as well, so if you sort of tilt the watch, the light will come up from that point of view. If we come back, the other thing is the font, which is a big thing for a lot of people, right? Because some people want the newer modern font, which looks a little bit more like this. Sorry about going in and out of focus, a bit hard holding the watch and a keyboard and a mouse at the same time. If I go through here to switching the main font and click on this, what this does, there we go, it gives me the ability to change between standard and classic. So right now I'm in standard. If I want classic, I click it here, send setting to watch, and that's how we get the classic look of the font as well. So those are some of the main features in terms of the watch itself. That's how it looks on the display, how you can change things on the watch. The application is very, very key to helping you set some of the settings. And I know some people will be upset about that, but it does make it very easy to configure the watch the way you want it to be. So let's go back. All right, so I hope that was useful to sort of see all the different features, some of the shortcomings, the good things, the app and how it actually works. I wanted to show you just quickly that the light coming on in a dark room. And as you can see, it's actually pretty clear when the light comes up. I was inside a storeroom there, it was very, very dark, and it's a bit hard to focus the camera, but it does light up pretty well. The MIP LCD display in a dark area. So at a pinch, if you need to see the time, and again, like in the settings we showed, you can set it to 1.5 seconds or 3 seconds, but it is pretty clear to be able to see from that angle. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the GW-BX5600 1A1. Great watch. I'm glad I purchased it. I might have a look later on to sort of see anything you might do from a customization, but maybe it's one of the ones that I want to sort of keep as it is. And there also is some of the metal ones as well, but that might be a little bit more in trouble if I were to go ahead and actually spend about $899 on those ones there. But this is a great watch. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Really enjoyable to talk about this watch, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks.